Hi guys, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to share in this video how my experience was going to visit my husband for Family Day at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. So if you want to know how my trip went, then just keep watching. Okay, so we were preparing for this trip for 10 weeks, and I want you to keep in mind that I had no experience flying with children prior to this, and I had no experience navigating through renting a car or booking a hotel or anything like that with kids. So all in all, it was a great experience. I learned a lot in these 10 weeks, and I learned how to book all of those things on my own, and I'm so grateful that that's something that I learned to do on my own while my husband was awake, because if he was here, more than likely he would have done it for me. So we get there, check everything in, everything's great. The boys did great on the flight. I took a lot of things, which I'm going to make a separate video about that, about all the things that I took to prepare for, to just keep them entertained and keep them happy, because both flights there and back were going to be about 3.5 to 4 hours long. So I needed to make sure that I had things to, keep them entertained, because there's nowhere to go inside an airplane. But they did really well. They were just amazing, actually. Kalani was, which is my son who's 4 years old, was the one who was comforting my sister because she was feeling all squirmish and whatnot. But anyway, that was very, very cute. So then we get to the airport, and I noticed that the car rental company is closed, and it has a sign saying, just go outside and take the shuttle to transport you to the car rental place. And you guys, we had two luggages. I had like one big luggage which had my stuff in it and the boys' stuff in it. My sister had her small luggage. We brought both car seats because I didn't feel comfortable renting the ones from the car rental place after the reviews that I saw. And then I also brought the stroller because I just felt like I needed it in case one of the kids wanted to nap and we were not at the hotel, whatever. I just like to be prepared. So we go outside, and thankfully there was a shuttle outside, and the gentleman got off and helped us and was really nice to just take us where we needed to go. We get to the car rental place, and I made sure I called the day before to make sure that everything was squared away, because I had done everything online. Everything was supposed to be good. We get there, the lady says, "Sorry ma'am, your card has some sort of code and it's not letting us pull the funds out." At this point, I'm freaking out because all I'm thinking about is I still have 2 hours to drive to Fort Leonard Wood from St. Louis. I just need a card and I need to get out of here. That's all I was thinking. So I proceed and give her another card, and then she says the same thing. And at this point, she was getting a little bit sassy, and I was getting a little bit frustrated because I knew that I had the funds in the cards. Anyway, and then the gentleman that was there working as well was like, she's fine. I've had this problem happen to me earlier today. Something's going on with the system. And I checked my banks, and they had charged me twice for the car rental, on one card and on the other card. I was frustrated because now even though they were going to refund me, it was going to take a couple of days for that money to come in. And so at that point, I just wanted to get out. It was already past 11. The kids were tired. And thankfully, everything worked out. They gave me the keys, and I was like, thank God. I just want the car. I want to leave. But before we left, I told my sister I need to go to the restroom because I had to, go pee. And so I noticed that when I walk in, there was only one stall. And it smelled like urine, and I just took note of it, but I didn't really think of it. And I just went inside the stall, and then right when I locked the stall, I heard somebody else come in, and they were on the outside. And then they started peeing. And then that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I am in the men's restroom. I didn't know what to do other than just stay there waiting for him to finish and then leave. And so he did. I finished and left. And then I told my sister Yvonne, I went inside the men's restroom, and she was like, how did you not see the sign? And I said, I don't know. I just didn't see it. And then it was so awkward because when I walked out, the guy looked at me like, I know you were in there. So it was so awkward and just weird. But anyway, we get to the car, we start driving. At this point, it's like past 11:30 for sure, or 12. We get lost the first 20 minutes, of course, because we're not used to driving in another state. It was crazy the first 20 minutes, and I was telling Iman to do all these crazy things that you're not supposed to be doing, and I don't know what came over me. I think I just was desperate to get to the base. But the rest of the car ride was awesome because there were hardly any cars, and so it was a good bonding time. We laughed, we talked about our childhood. Okay, so then I was a little bit nervous about getting on base as well because I've never been on base without another military person with me, and this time it was just going to be me showing my military ID. And I was just nervous because they could all, I didn't know, I just always think about the what if they say this or that, whatever. And to my surprise, they were so nice, so helpful and kind. Showed me where to go to, get to the hotel because we were going to stay on base at a hotel on base. We get to the hotel. They were super helpful there too. Checked me in right away. It told me that, they had the crib that I had ordered for Ezra. And I was just so thankful how smoothly that transaction went. So after that, by this point, you guys, it's 3 in the morning. And we haven't slept. At least Yvonne and I haven't slept, and I just decided to take a shower because I had to pick up Jose at 5:45, and there was no time to take a nap or anything. I had to shower and get ready, and I just have all of these things racing through my head because I hadn't seen my husband in 10 weeks, and the longest that we've ever been without seeing him, or that I've ever been without seeing him, was probably like maybe 4 days at the most. So as I was getting ready, I was just getting nervous a little bit and, not knowing what to do or what to say. I don't know if I was going to be emotional. So we get to the place where we need to go, and as soon as I walk in, they ask, who are you here for? I told them my husband's name, and then they proceed to say, oh, you have your hands full. And I just thought to myself, like, what do you mean by that? Like, is that a good thing? Or I don't know. I just kept walking because I didn't know what to respond to that. So I get there, I sit next to somebody else, and I just strike a conversation, asking them, who they're there for, all of these things. And then I don't know where the soldiers start coming behind us, and they start lining up behind us. And my heart just started pounding. Like, I almost forgot for a minute what I was there for because I was so engaged in conversation with the other lady that I was talking to. And, of course, Jose is one of the last ones. And all I could hear was my heart in my ears. I could hear my heart pounding. And I didn't know how to act. I didn't know what to do. Then the drill sergeant they're there so you could feel, like, the presence of, like, everything is serious here. My husband comes in, and you guys, the moment I saw him, I just felt like we were 15 and 17 again. He looked like he was 17 again. He lost so much weight. He looked so different. He was so skinny, and I just didn't know what to think. And then, of course, the drill sergeant starts talking and, telling us all the do's and don'ts, what time to be back. And then she proceeds to say, okay, soldiers, go find your families. So I get up and I look for Jose, and you guys, the moment that we locked eyes, it was like I was home again. Like when you see somebody that you just feel home, you feel protected, you feel loved, you feel safe. That's how I felt. I felt like no one else was there. It was just me and him, and I had found myself again, if that makes sense. But I also was awkward, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't cry. I thought I was going to bawl my eyes out and cry because that's what I had been doing the past 10 weeks. But I didn't. I think, the lack of sleep and just being there, I had all this adrenaline running. I just wasn't processing. I was just living in the moment. And, he saw me, and, we gave each other a little peck because I didn't know. I mean, if it were up to me, honey, I would have ran to him and straddled him and, gave him a big, long kiss. But in the military, when you're in uniform, I don't know if it applies when you're not in uniform, whatever. I don't know. I'm still learning the military etiquette. But you're not allowed to be showing public displays of affection. So, it wasn't like I could do what I really wanted to do, but that's okay, honey. I did that later. Anyway, so I told them, the boys are outside. They want to see you. I told my sister so that she could have the boys ready. And as soon as we walk outside, I see Kalani running from afar towards his daddy. And you guys, it was just so special. It was so special to see my son running to his daddy and seeing Jose run to him or walk to him, and it was just beautiful. That moment meant so much to me because at some point Kalani lays his little head. You'll see in the vlog video, he lays his head on his dad, and it was so sweet. Kalani had his camel mic. They named the Build-A-Bear that Kalani has, the camel one. Jose got that for him. They named him Camel Mike, and he takes that thing with him everywhere. But it was just nice to have the real thing, to have daddy in his arms, But Ezra was another story. Ezra, still till today, I don't know if Ezra was just confused or if he really didn't recognize his dad because he looked so different. And he's also such a mama's boy, so of course what he did was run to me. And he was shy. I don't think he knew what to do either. So I don't know, because then when we got to the hotel, Ezra was all over him and couldn't have enough of his daddy. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe, it doesn't matter, he's a little boy. So then after that, we just went to the hotel. We had a good time. We were able to connect. It kind of felt like Jose and I had switched roles because, I was ready to just, we've been married for 6 years, and I was just ready to be intimate with my husband. I'll just say that. And Jose was ready to, talk about his experience and be cuddly and sweet and loving, which I really, really appreciated that. And I thought it was so sweet that he was so, in that moment. But I just thought it was funny that, my mind was somewhere else. Anyway, okay, not TMI. What did we do after that? So after that, we just rested. My sister was, we took Ezra, put Ezra down for a nap, and then my sister, who was amazing, Yvonne, I love you. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for me and the boys and my family. You are the best. She took Kalani outside in the hot, humid weather. It was probably over 90 degrees for sure, so that Jose and I could just have private time, and it was so special. It was almost like we hadn't been apart for 10 weeks, if that makes sense. And it was so nice to know that Jose and I, before he left, we decided that our mantra was going to be that we were not just going to survive, but we were going to thrive. And it's actually a word that the Lord gave us, so we kind of just held on to that word. And I'm so proud to say that I was strong back home, and I had moments where I felt weak, but I just held on to the Lord, and I held on to my support system. Anyway, and Jose was strong as well. He did so well in basic training. He not only excelled, but he also impacted the lives of the young men who were there, and women, because it was women in basic training as well. And so yeah, it was just nice to have that moment to just process everything together. And after that, we had to check him back in because he had to check in for the last formation. And then we were told that we had to find them out in the field. And that day was, it happened to be July the 4th. July the 4th, 4th of July, you know what I mean. It was so nice, this is just a side note, to share a holiday with him because we missed Father's Day and Mother's Day, and he also missed Kalani's 4th birthday. And 4th of July has always been a meaningful holiday for us. Even before we were married, we would always go in groups and like church groups and stuff like that to Santa Barbara to see the fireworks. So to be able to share that holiday that means so much to us in another state together, being in the military, it was just amazing. And so then we go to, the field, and they had like a family event. They had games and stuff for the kids to do. They had food trucks. They had a concert going on, and then they were going to have a fireworks show later. So it was so special. I couldn't have landed on a better day. One of the other things that I feel like that meant so much to me was that at some point Kalani and I left to go get him a snow cone while Jose stayed back with Ezra and his family. And his battle buddies would stop me, and I was a little bit taken aback because I didn't know them, but they recognized me. Now I know they recognized me because of all the pictures that I sent Jose. But they would stop me and they would thank me, which I thought, I wasn't expecting that. They would thank me and say that Jose was just so awesome to them, and how great of a leader he was, and how great of a friend and mentor he was for them. If it hadn't been for him, they probably wouldn't have graduated, and just how blessed I am to have him. And that meant a lot to me because I felt like the world finally sees the man that I have always known Jose to be. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a mouthful. But it blessed me so much to know that we were in a position, or that, Jose is in a position where he can give of himself to others, and that others are able to appreciate what he has to give. And at the same time, I also thought to myself, this is worth it. It's worth the sacrifice. Like, I just had a moment within myself where I felt like, this is it. Like, this is what we prayed for. This is lifestyle changes, not just for us, but it's for others. It's so that we can bless other people. And in this life, the military life is not for the faint of heart, for sure. And it involves physical separation, which can be hard. And it involves a bunch of other sacrifices. But seeing other people be blessed, and seeing how they were going to leave just impacted in their lives, and knowing that somebody cared for them during that short, time, it just meant the whole world to me. And it just felt right. It felt like, yes, this is where we need to be. Like, yes, these 10 weeks apart were worth it. These sacrifices that we're making as a family are worth it. And it just feels good. It feels good when you give of yourself. I'm sure you know the feeling. I'm sure we've all been in a position where we have been able to give of ourselves to help somebody else, and it just feels good, So then after that, we just enjoyed the fireworks. We enjoyed our time together. It was so awesome that the audio was able to capture something sweet that Jose was telling Kalani, and I think I cried when I heard that, because I didn't know that. I was just trying to record the fireworks, and you can hear Jose talking to Kalani and telling him how proud he was of him because he's been so brave and taking care of mommy at home. So I'm sure you'll hear it in the vlog. And overall, we had a great experience for Family Day. I encourage you, if you are a newly military spouse, or you're a family member, I really encourage you to go to the Family Day. Although graduation is very important, Family Day is just as important, because you get to process everything that your soldier just went through, and it's so meaningful, and it's a day that you're never going to get back. It's only like once. They only go through basic training once. So I really encourage you to go, and to just enjoy yourself as well, to enjoy seeing that person reach a huge milestone. Milestone. Anyway, yes, that's it for me. I'm going to share graduation day, which was the following day, in another video, just because I don't want to make this video super long. It's probably long enough as it is already. But yes, after that, we just went home. He had to go back to his company, and we went home. We went to the hotel, and that was it. It was amazing. It was a great day, and I am forever thankful, and I will never forget that day. Anyway, thank you guys so much for your support and for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.